Hey guys. Ew. Ew. Hey guys, it's Popo Joe Explode, and today I come to you with my very first flintlock pistol. It's beautiful, ain't it? Well, anyways, guys, I went ahead and I started looking for flintlock pistols because I knew I wanted to at least have at least one flintlock, but I couldn't really decide what I wanted. So I was looking around, and I was really wanting a naval sea service pistol, British sea service pistol. And so I went and I found a website through a couple of places that were constantly showing off their British Navy sea service pistols on YouTube, and I ended up coming to the Discriminating General or militaryheritage.com. Now, seeing that these pistols were always working on the YouTube videos, I decided, they look good, they seem to work, so I'm used to getting stuff from Dixie Gun Works, but I go ahead and try this out. So I look, sure enough, there was the British Sea Service pistol. However, I found this little guy. This happens to be a British light Dragoon pistol. Instead of being 12-inch barrel, it has a 9-inch barrel. Instead of having a slightly angled grip, it has a more curved grip. Now, this is something about the same size as what I was actually wanting. Yes, the British Navy Sea Service pistol was a bit big in my taste, but it was pretty cool because you could get the belt clip on the side. I was like, well, that'd be cool. I won't have to get a holster, but there was just something about this gun that I really really appealed to me. I think it's because, well, I'm a Cav guy, so when it had Dragoon in it, I was like, okay, maybe I want this one instead, because I'm not a naval guy, I'm a Cav guy, so maybe because it was a Dragoon pistol. And let me get this. I'll get into this in a moment. I just like the idea of these types of pistols. Plus, I've always liked the bad guy from the Patriot, that Colonel Tavington dude, and they were light Dragoons, and I always wondered what kind of pistol did he have. He was always blowing people away in that movie with that pistol. If anything, it would probably have been something, if not this model right here, because the British light Dragoon pistol came out in the 1760s after the French and Indian Wars, or the 7 Years' War, and so this model saw service in the American Revolution and all the way up through the Napoleonic Wars before it was replaced with the Newland Patterson pistol. It's not as nice, if you ask me. I mean, this is kind of the style that I was looking for, and I think it's just beautiful. But anyways, so far much more curved pistol, 9-inch barrel, standard a standard flintlock, and you know what? It is just a beefy pistol. I mean, this is just, it's thick compared to my Hopper's Ferry. It's just like its fat cousin. But I tell you what, if you had to use this at our club, yeah, it's you don't want to get hit in the head with that. Nor do you want to get shot by the 62 cal ball that this thing fires. So, now when I ordered it from the Military Heritage or the Discriminating General, they ship it with it not bored out, the flash hole not bored out. So technically, it's not a firearm when they ship it. So when I got it, I had to go and remove the lock plate, drill it out, and then I cleaned it up a little bit on the inside, got all the grease out of it, and I tested it out. Sure enough, I actually messed up the flash hole. You could actually barely see a little bit of a flash hole. It was like I got like the half of a 332 size hole. So I was like, damn it. So I went back in with a bigger bit and I went above it and I created a somewhat larger hole. So it's not exactly a round hole. It's kind of an oval if you take the lock plate off. But there's plenty in there. So I went and bought, I guess they're the Arkansas style flints. I was looking at the British ones, but these seem to be just, they might get a little bit more life out of these. I don't know. I'm going to try the British style flints eventually. But these Arkansas style came in like a 4-pack, and they also came with leather. So I didn't have any spare leather, so I was like, well, hell, let me just go ahead and get this. Hopefully they work. So I went and put it on, and yeah, they work. Also, the cool thing is that they work really well. Now, Military Heritage just says that they're, let me see if I can find it. The hammer throws good sparks because it is a case-hardened frizzen, and they used a cyanide case-hardening factory process that both makes sparking more reliable and longer lasting. And they say that nobody else makes a frizzen like that. So good, awesome. I mean, it's sparked every time. Like, it sparked a lot every time I've fired it, and really I've just tested out flaming the pan and put a little powder in the barrel just to see if it works. So I know it works, and it sparks really well. The only problem with this gun that I had was a few things. One big one when I was actually taking it out of the wrapper, and no, it did not come in a box. All it did was come with a cardboard like lining wrapped with plastic wrapped around that. There was no box or anything. And what had happened was this part had broken off, and I was like, well, shit. So I actually got a knife and I had to stick it right here and kind of move the rest of the ramrod out. And sure enough, this is what I got. I mean, it was this brittle balsa wood stuff, so I kind of snapped it. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I mean, look, watch this. Look at that. Look how easy that is. Well, maybe too short. But you can see that this stuff is just brittle. So I couldn't believe that they would use this kind of wood for a ramrod. I don't know if they were just, this is just a ramrod for looks, or if they actually intended people to use this type of ramrod. But as you can see, guys, people that discriminate in general, this wood will probably cause someone to put this through their hand if it snapped and got sharp enough. So yeah, I'd probably quit using this wood right here. Now, from what I understand, these guns have a reputation of not being that great, or being in what is known as an India made. So I'm sure they don't make them. Of course, everything that I got from the website saying that, you know, this is kind of their style of gun. So if they do make them, if y'all do produce these, I would quit making it with this wood. I would just use the standard dowel rods you can get from Hobby Lobby, you know. So that's what I'm going to eventually have to do. As you see, this actually also broke right out, and I had to bore it out to get all the wood out. But this literally went poof. So yeah, so the ramrod is absolute crap. I will be keeping this brass end. So when I do get the good dowel rod from Hobby Lobby and spray paint it brown, it will be fine, and I'll be able to have a ramrod for this gun. Will I use it? Probably not, because I actually made myself a cleaner rod for both this gun and the Howdah, seeing that they're both 62 caliber. The Howdah is like 515, but this is 62, and that's close enough. But I came up with this. This was just a ramrod, extra ramrod piece that I had cut from when I was making the new ramrod for whenever I launched it out of my muzzleloader, my Hawken. Put a 62 caliber jag on the end. Actually, I had to bore it out and kind of glued it in with some epoxy. And then I took one of these round balls that you can find at Hobby Lobby or Joann's or anything like that. And I also bored it out, put it all the way through. I actually took another bit, and I drilled through it. And I put a brass screw all the way through it, cut it down, sanded it down with a Dremel, and then I kind of pounded it down on either side to kind of get it to lay flat around the round surface. And being brass, it's very malleable. So after I got that, I put a little super glue around it, and then of course I put resin all over the wood. So now it makes a pretty good ramrod for this gun, a range rod. Whenever I get this one built, definitely I'll be able to use this too. But really, guys, I make range rods because honestly, these guns, both my Harper's Ferry, my Howada, and now this gun, they're all fun guns, and really I will use the range rods for them. So I got this one, and I also have a one that's this one right here. This one actually is a little bit better of a design. I actually put a couple more little nails at the bottom right here to interface right here, because actually at the end of this is actually more brass, and this actually got drilled through the brass, not the plastic. And figuring that this plastic could separate from the brass on the inside, even though it is glued, I just went ahead and pounded 2 nails through the plastic and made it flat and glued it, and of course resined all over it. Also on this end, I actually put I forget what you call them, one of those AR-15 pins. Actually drilled a little hole through the plastic, through this hole that already existed here, and I tapped in one of those pins that you use for AR-15 gunsmithing, and I flattened it out and grinded it down, and so this end's not coming off ever. And of course I got my 50 caliber jag, and I got my ball puller on this end. So this is right here the one that I made for my my other pistols, namely my Harper's Ferry. But enough with these, guys. Hopefully maybe you get a good idea with these. Extremely easy to make, really cheap to make. So if you break a ramrod, there is hope out there for you. But anyways, back to this. So another thing I didn't like was they had dribbled something. Hopefully it wasn't that cyanide case hardening stuff, but there's little splotches all over the top of the barrel where something leaked on it. So what I had actually went and sanded that off. You can kind of see it still there, but not a real biggie, but definitely had it cleaned off. And probably the final thing was you can see what looks like pitting. There's a little bit back here on the trigger. There's kind of some up here. I don't think it's pitting from rust. I just think it was just the kind of metal they used when they shaped it. They didn't get all the imperfections out. Because really this gun's not pitted, where it looks like rust did it, or rust got a hold of it. But there's definitely some places on this gun where you can tell that the metal work probably is not the greatest. It actually looks like it's kind of rough. I don't know if they intended to look like that, or if they were doing something that they did back in the day, but it's definitely kind of a rougher look around the edges where it's not polished. So that's that with that. But other than that, the gun works great. The trigger pull's a little heavy, but I really don't care. It's when it goes, it goes. It's a very crisp trigger, even though it's a little heavy. Other than that, it is a beautiful pistol, and it works great. So I have not shot it yet, but in anticipating and waiting for this to come in the mail, I made these. These are essentially a mini infilled case, or cartridge, a mini infilled cartridge. Only this time, the bottom is lubed, and once you rip it, pour in the powder, you do put this whole thing in there and snap it off, and you've got a 60 caliber ball with a paper wadding, and then you go ram it down and prime the pan and shoot it. Now the thing is, guys, I could not find black powder anywhere in my area, so I'm actually having to use pyrodex 3F. So priming the pan, I've got the little primer, the little brass little flask looking thing that you use to prime the pan. This little guy right here, and actually I had to take 3F pyrodex and actually put it in a glass bowl, and I took a wooden dowel and just crushed it up, and I got to about 4F, if not even finer than that. And you know what, guys, it is flashing up in the pan, so I'm really not too worried about using black powder substitute with this. And I did get it to set off a 3F pyrodex charge in the barrel in my backyard, so not too crazy, not too many problems. I mean, this thing has flashed every time I put powder in the pan, so I'm pretty happy about that. So when I do use this cartridge right here, the pyrodex will be set off, I'm sure, without any problems. But anyways, guys, we won't know about that until we get to the range. So as you can see, guys, a beautiful British light Dragoon pistol from the 1760s reproduction. But let's go and see how well it shoots.